my name is Mason Giles, and I will be doing a book review on No Place to Hide by Glenn Greenwald. In this book, Greenwald goes over the history of the National Security Agency, or the NSA, and how the government has taken advantage of the NSA's access to surveillance of humans all over the world. So in Chapter 1, Greenwald introduces us to this mysterious email account by the name of Cineadus. And Cineadus, as Greenwald describes, is actually Lucius Quintus Cineadus, who was a 5th century Roman farmer who became appointed as dictator of Rome during an attack against the city. However, after he realized how difficult the job was being a dictator of the city, he voluntarily resigned and gave up his power and returned back to living the life as a farmer. He said there was too much power, it was overruling everybody, and he himself could not obtain that much power alone. This email account ended up being a young man by the name of Edward Snowden. And Edward Snowden, or Cineadus, had been sending Greenwald top-secret emails from the NSA full of information about the methods of surveillance that the NSA and the government were using to spy on everyone in not only the U.S. but also all over the world. Snowden wanted to meet with Greenwald. Greenwald asked his boss at The Guardian, the newspaper company he worked for, and he gave him permission, and he brought a senior editor from The Guardian to write down everything that was said, and Laura Poitras to film the entire interview and capture history. So in Chapter 2, Greenwald and his crew show up at the hotel in Hong Kong where Edward Snowden is staying. And as soon as they introduce each other to themselves, they get right to work. Immediately, Snowden gives them a file with private documents from the government that they had been keeping that the NSA had actually captured. Greenwald and his crew are astonished at what they had seen and what they were actually reading in front of them. Laura's film crew captured the entire interview and the transaction of the documents. Greenwald interviewed him while the senior editor recorded everything that was said on paper. He started off with small talk and background questions like where he was from, his type of career, his personal life, his education, etc. And after hours of interviewing, Glenwood and his team were very excited to go back and start editing and writing about all the incredible information they had gained from Snowden. The information that was given to Glenwood, however, quickly became sort of dangerous for the company, as lawyers explained. They said publishing the information could cause the government to come after them for publishing such secretive information. But Greenwald didn't care at all and didn't understand why the Guardian did either. After intense arguments back and forth, Greenwald gave them a decision and said, either publish this story today or I'm leaving the company. And so the Guardian published his novel that day. And within minutes, every social media source, every news television program was broadcasting all the information that was leaked by Greenwald's novel. And not only did the information get out, but there was a video to go along with it as well. And that video contained the identity of Edward Snowden and his location and all the information that he leaked. So immediately the governments went looking for him and disregarded Greenwald for publishing the novel. Snowden immediately became a threat in the U.S.'s eyes and had to capture him. But Snowden hid out somewhere in Hong Kong out of America's jurisdiction, so they weren't able to capture him. Snowden had revealed top-secret information about how the government got their information from spying on humans through technology. Chapter 3 basically talks about how all of the programs that the NSA uses to watch over humans for surveillance. It also talks about how countries are trying to use that same programming to spy on their own humans and essentially give them information for the U.S. to use. This benefits them in so many ways. Another part he brings up is how search engines such as Google and Yahoo and AOL and Bing give records of their members to the government, such as emails and anything that's passed in between one email to another. They have that all on record, and whatever the government needs, they will give them. Also, the chapter's full of different documents and emails and messages and charts explaining either everything that all the programs see or what is seen by the government, and it's pretty incredible. In Chapter 4, Greenwald explains how privacy is a fundamental human right and that it's as important as freedom. When a person feels like they are truly alone, they can truly be themselves, and with the NSA doing this type of surveillance is a complete violation of privacy. But, however, having the thought of the NSA and the government surveilling on us has prevented criminals from communicating with each other and sending out certain locations and giving the government details that they could use in order to find them. He explains how if people think they are being watched, they will go along with social norms and not be deviant. At last, he finally goes over how certain events have happened due to information that government surveillance has obtained and how it's harmed citizens. So in Chapter 5, the final chapter, the chapter begins telling us what the Fourth Estate is. And the book states that it is to ensure the government's transparency to provide the check of overreach of which the secret surveillance and entire populations is surely among the most radical examples. So, instead of attacking the government, the media focused all of their attention on Snowden and Greenwald for basically just leaking all of that information. They disregarded the government and all the stuff that they had been keeping under the table and focused on the people who leaked the information, so Snowden and Greenwald. Snowden became an immediate threat in everyone's eyes, and all Americans thought of him as as a criminal. Politicians wanted to prosecute Greenwald for making national security public. No one realized that the information that was leaked was actually helpful information towards our society. They were falsely accused, and the Guardian had to smash all of their hard drives. And when the GCHQ made them hand over all their information, they had to wipe all of their hard drives. But Laura, one of the filmers, still had an entire archive of the information, and so Greenwald knew about this, and he wanted her to send it to him, but she didn't want to send it through the mail because it could have been tracked. So she trusted this guy David Marianda to deliver the archive to Greenwald. But soon after David left to deliver the package, Greenwald received a call saying that David was being detained for under the act of terrorism. Um, this is what made this move was this move by the government was made to send a message to the rest of the world and especially Snowden and his associates about how serious the seriousness of them leaking this information. For weeks, people were outraged by the thuggishness of what these guys did and how they betrayed our government. So overall, I really did enjoy this book. It was very interesting. I honestly was so shocked to believe that our government actually did that type of stuff, and their surveillance tactics were incredible. And very, it was scary, um, and it just was very eye-opening. The fact that they got away with all of that, and really how much it has helped out our society, but overall it is a complete violation of our privacy, and I think it's really wrong of them to be doing that. But if it's saving lives or stopping crime, I guess it has to be done, and there isn't much you can do about it. Um, but overall, I really, really enjoyed this book. It was it was very interesting throughout the entire book. Thanks.